Hi, everybody. Welcome to AITA Pod. I'm Danny Vega, joined by a returning guest, Karla Espino.
Hello. The last time I was on this, you had mentioned that you had a date scheduled.
Yeah, I got friend zoned. But it was cool. And I actually had said before the date that I was like, I would want to be her friend. And then, she gave a mean second date. She was very the first date was very centered on her. And then the second date, I felt like she really asked a lot of questions about me. She made me feel interesting. And so then I was like, okay. But then, she just kind of sent me a text and was like, I'm only looking for friendships at this time. And I was like, I feel like that's a friend zone, but it did feel sincere. And I was like, you know what? This is where I was before. And I was happy to be her friend. So,
but why go on dates if you're not interested in more than friends?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like she was letting me down easy a little bit, but I feel like she was really being like, I would be your friend though. Like, I'm down to still hang out.
I believe
Which I was
that.
like, that's fine. And I rarely am in a situation where I'm like, no, I would be your friend. And so I thought that was actually kind of cool.
That's awesome. So it sounds like you gained a friend.
Fuck it. Let's go.
Is this smile convincing?
Yeah. I mean, I was pissed that night. I was pissed. Well, it was that was that Monday, because it was the first Monday. It was the first Monday back, January the 6th. And it was just oh God, this is my life. I forgot I have to do these tasks and work. And then, so then the night was running down and it was winding down. And I was like, I haven't really gotten that much done today. You know what I mean? Just that slap in the face of you've got to work in our society, honey. And then boom, just checking my phone and be like, and I just got friend zone, not just brutal Monday.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to handle in one day.
I'm just mad because and now it's a good thing, but I'm getting surgery this coming Monday. And I'm this year is really I wanted this year to start off a certain way. And I'm like, fuck, and I got to do all this shit.
The surgery is a good way to start off the year.
About Tell me about that.
Well, think about how much better you're going to feel for the rest of the year. You're getting it out of the way. You want to think about doing it in June. That's just daunting.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. You're getting it out of the way.
I'm getting my septum cleared, so I'm going to have 2 nostrils now. I really basically have 1. So
yeah, that's a good thing, I think. I mean, it's a lot and to approach and go into surgery is a whole thing, but you're better off.
Yeah, well, that was what freaked me out. They're you can't take an Uber home. And I was like, why? And they were you got to have someone escort you because you're going to be all fucked up from the, what's it called? The anesthesiologist. Yeah, anesthesia. Yeah. So anesthesia, by the way, is a great girl's name.
That's funny.
What's Anastasia? What is that? That is a girl's name.
Anastasia's a girl name.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know from where.
Anesthesia could be fun if she's sleepy.
I think also having 2 working nostrils might help you smell the friend zone sooner.
Okay, fuck off. Fuck you. All right, we're going to do a little bit of guess the verdict. Here we go, folks. AITA for making my husband give his mom and daughter a time frame to move out.
One more time for me.
AITA for making my husband give his mom and daughter a time frame to move out.
Not the asshole. I mean, I feel like it's always the opposite. Not the asshole, because everyone deserves boundaries and I think expectations of that doesn't mean tomorrow, but hey, are they going to be here for 3 months? I need to know. I need to manage my expectations. I need to understand what my life is going to be like. This is my space that 2 new people are in.
So how old do you think the daughter is?
Grown.
NTA is a good guess. OP and hubby fell in love. She's an empty nester, OP is. So her daughter is full grown. They have a whirlwind romance. And OP was very I'm excited to live with just my husband. She don't want to live with nobody.
Understandable.
Mother and daughter move in. And I really thought Reddit missed the mark. Your answer was wrong. It went, everyone sucks here.
Is the daughter husband's sister? I'm sorry. Who is living where? I'm so confused.
OP
is married.
And her husband are living together.
OP's husband's mom.
OP's husband's mom and OP's husband's daughter move in. So she says, get out. I want him out. He offers them, get ready for this, a year's notice.
That's
I
too
think
much.
that is incredibly reasonable.
1 year?
That's so reasonable and giving of her, and yet they marked her as everyone sucks here.
Oh, I thought the husband said 1 year. She gave 1 year. That's very generous.
Very generous. This one, everyone sucks here. I'm like, that's nuts. I think you were right, but you were wrong and you don't get a point.
They said everyone sucks?
Isn't that crazy? They said
them.
marry in haste, repent in leisure. And I'm like, this has nothing to do with the marriage. The marriage is fine. Like,
And also, it's her fucking house. If
don't-
they didn't have space for these
I
two
wasn't
people,
clear
they'd
on
have to
that.
figure something else out.
yeah, I guess it's their house, but yeah.
Am I the asshole for telling people I'm not having fun when they ask and I'm genuinely not?
I mean, I feel like there are certain situations, like if it's your birthday and, you know, somebody, you look frumpy and you frowny and it's like, well, what's wrong? Then yeah, because you want to fix it. But I'm like, I feel like this person is going to places, being a pain in the ass. And it's like, yes, you're the asshole. Like, shut up. Figure out how to have a good time. It's time to grow up.
I felt like this one was a good one for you because I feel like you're someone who is not like doesn't really code things.
Doesn't really what?
Code things. Like I feel like you would be the person that would be like, are you having fun? You'd be like, no.
No. Well, but I don't view it as negative. If I went to a thing and someone's like, you're having fun, I'd be like, no, I'm not really having fun. I'm probably going to leave soon. And then they would be like, you know, that's so negative. And I'm like, no, it's not. You're taking it negatively, but I was here till I stopped having fun. That time is now, and now I'm going to go. And then nothing negative happened. You view it as negative. That's what I would say to that person.
So your result is that this person is the asshole.
Well, yeah, because they're not funny like me, and I'm being objective, but they're being annoying. Because what they're doing is manipulative. I feel like they're more being like, I'm not having fun, and I want, and they don't even know what they want, but I know what I want. I'm going to leave, and that's it.
Right.
So yes, I'm at YTA.
It is YTA.
Boom!
So this is a situation where this guy and his brother went on a hike.
Oh.
And OP is not a fan. It's so fun. I do want to read part of this because I thought it was so funny. I was on a vacation with my older brother in Arizona who wanted to do a lot of nature hikes. Nature hikes are fine. I don't mind them, but I do dislike walking up large hills. Walking downhill is the easiest thing ever.
I love going on hikes. It's the hiking that I hate.
Walking downhill is the easiest thing ever. It's like being nature's passenger princess. You just put your footwork forward and let gravity do all the work. Walking uphill, conversely, is very draining and leaves me sweaty. Why are you mansplaining how to hike?
Yeah, what are you even
So that already kind of tells you what kind of person this is. He feels like he has to explain that walking uphill is hard.
Wasn't I right? I'm good at complaining. This guy sucks at it.
So basically, he does this hike. He doesn't say anything throughout the whole hike. And then at the end, the brother says, later when he was driving me to the airport for my flight home, he says, after the hike, he says, are you having fun? And he says no. And then on the way home, the brother was like, hey, if you're not having fun, don't say no. So the brother was like mad that OP said no. And OP was like, but I wasn't having fun.
And it was just them two?
It was just them two. Right. Top comment is, you're the asshole. Quote, it's been a fun day hanging with you, but man, this hike is steep. Not really my thing. I'm looking forward to the downhill bit. End quote. That's the sort of polite answer people are looking for. So it is like, maybe this guy is a little autistic. So just saying no is just like, no. Because it sounded like he just blatantly was like, no. Which
with
can
your
undercut.
brother, though? Aren't you going to be real with your brother?
So that was the thing was a lot of people who were like, you're the asshole, but also you and your brother need to have better conversations about what you like and what you don't like and like how you communicate with each other. Because you'd think your brother would know this about you by now.
I don't understand. He agreed to go on a hike and then was mad there was an uphill part.
Yeah.
No, this guy's a fucking idiot.
But he didn't express being mad.
I thought they had a conversation at the end.
No, everyone was saying they should have a conversation.
Oh, there was no conversation.
No, there was no conversation.
He just wrote on Reddit, I don't like going up hills.
Correct.
Fuck this guy. Shut up. I can't believe he wasted my time with that. AITA for pushing my teacher about a petty grade. One more time. AITA for pushing my teacher.
Physically?
No, not physically. I'm going to give you that. My teacher about a petty grade.
Not the asshole.
OP missed getting an A because of a group assignment that OP went over and above to make sure would go as planned. Like one person in the group, not OP,
right,
had to like do whatever, turn it in a specific way. OP created a group chat and spoke to the teacher and very much did everything they could to make sure that this idiot turned it in on time. A idiot, non-OP, turned it in late. OP missed getting an A by 1 point, and the teacher was like, the rules are the rules. And you're saying NTA.
Right.
Because you're reasonable. And honestly, it was a good guess, but you forget that Reddit is not reasonable. Young God 9, YTA. While it's frustrating to lose points over something outside your control, the teacher set a clear rule about submission and your group as a whole failed to follow. Continuing to push the issue after the teacher has made their decision might come across as excessive and unprofessional. Wrong.
Yeah.
Push.
Fuck that.
I say push it.
To teach kids not to push on situations.
You have to push in life.
Yeah.
You know,
You got to get yours.
This is cutting into the bonus, but I feel like he who volunteers and jumps in, or she who volunteers and jumps in and does more and gets in there, sometimes you're going to get told no, and nobody likes to get rejected. I mean, I just got rejected for a third date, people, and we hate to see it. But that's life. But you jump in and you try and you get soaking wet and it's cold in there. But sometimes people go, you know what? They jumped in the pool, so that was pretty admirable. They tried.
They did try. I think group assignments are like, we're still doing that.
Honestly, I could almost ding the teacher. Fuck group assignments.
Group assignments is not fair because they are notoriously known for not being evenly
There's
worked
always
on.
an asshole who's not going to do nothing.
Yes. And I feel like almost that's kind of, but then at the same time, it's like, is the grading scale similar to a group assignment where one person's going to do really shitty so everyone gets more points?
So
right?
That's saying it helps the dumb one?
Yeah. Like I think group assignments are made to help dumb kids.
Danny, I like the group assignment. That's how I got good grades. I'm lazy, Danny, and stupid.
Yeah. I think that's really frustrating.
Then you could argue it teaches you how to work with people. But I'm like, and OP did work with the people and they still fucked up. And he went over and above and made sure. That's what I don't like. In the real world, if you have an idiot on your team, but you make up for it, that's being a good manager. You're like, I have an idiot. The idiot, he does what he does, but you know what? He makes a mean coffee. I don't know why that's a skill, but it is. I make up for his miss whenever he forgets to, sign for the UPS. And fuck UPS, by the way. Where the fuck is my one wheel, you idiots? And I know they're going to use the excuse, Danny, there was a fire. Fuck you. You fucked me before the fire. You're assholes. Final round. I have 1 point. You have 0. You already lost. This thing's already iced, but let's go.
Jeez.
I'm sorry. It was brutal. That anger was for UPS, not you.
Am I the asshole for taking a picture of a stranger and their dog in a restaurant?
No. Why would that be bad? In a restaurant, in my view, you are in public. You're in public. I don't even care about the restaurant's policies. I'm like, if they're bringing their dog into a restaurant already, I'm like, you're setting yourself up. That's not where dogs go. I mean, I think what happened here is they had a cute dog. And then maybe it was one of those cases. I see this a lot. People who look like their dog. I'm very fascinated with that.
That's most people.
Right? How does that happen? And so what? They wanted a picture and they're in public. I'm saying not the asshole.
Wrong. Everyone sucks here.
Okay.
Basically, this guy went to Chipotle.
Chipotle? That's not a restaurant. You already lied.
It's a restaurant.
It's a fast food place.
Restaurant. Okay.
Yes, you're right. Fast food restaurant. You're right. Now you got me there.
So basically, he went to this Chipotle. All it says is that the dog wasn't just with this couple that was there. Okay. The dog was on the furniture.
No, on the table?
It doesn't specify. It just says on the furniture.
Weird.
OP gets upset, takes a picture of it because, quote, that shit annoys me, end quote. And then the couple gets upset because he took the picture of them, mainly because OP's reason for taking the picture was to submit it for a health code violation to his county and use the picture as proof. He wasn't going to post it online. He had no other purpose but to submit it and document it as a violation.
Why? Okay.
He tells this to the couple.
Oh, he told them.
Yeah, and the couple says, that's fucking pointless. There's no, they're not going to,
okay.
Why are you taking pictures of us and our dog?
Let it be pointless then. Let it be pointless. If it's so pointless, then why are you raising a point about how it's pointless?
And then they also said they didn't want their photo to be used for that.
I don't care. You're in public.
They called me an asshole. I got to leave and one of them follows me out saying I violated their privacy. I told them, I don't care. I got in my truck and left. Am I the asshole? And so everyone said, everyone sucks here. Why was your first reaction to report the entire restaurant rather than talking to management about the dog? If the manager still allowed the dog inside the restaurant and it wasn't a service dog, then go ahead and report them, but at least make sure they're aware of the situation. It's Chipotle.
It's Chipotle. I'm like, I don't care.
Manager's 18, ready to fucking go to college, clocking in his hours. He's not worried about this damn
It's
dog.
Chipotle. I don't care.
Furniture, a chair, not the biggest deal on the table.
It's not a big deal. But I'm like, no, it's not a. Oh wait, we don't know though. We don't know.
No, it just said furniture. It just said furniture.
I'm just like, look, you want to record it, you want to report it to the health people, and that's fine. Go do that. It's pointless. So go do it. So you did something pointless. I mean, you didn't do something wrong. If it's either, look, here's the thing. It's either a violation. And if it's a violation, it's a violation. I'm sorry. You did a violation and you should run your Chipotle better. And we don't owe you more than that because you're a national chain and you should have had this figured out anyway.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of an asshole move to take the picture just because it's like, who do you think you are? Like, you're trying to like control the Chipotle. Like, that's like the person who's like, it's like tattletale. Like, no one likes a tattletale.
No, but he's not it's not like a tattletale.
He is. He's taking a picture and then submitting it to the health code violation.
A tattletale is if I see you yank Jillian's hair and then I tattletale on you. Right? That's a tattletale.
Yeah.
But he took a picture of the people, not the Chipotle. In other words, he was tattling on the Chipotle.
Right.
But that's good. Fuck Chipotle.
Well, no, that's what I say. That's what I think makes him an asshole for taking a picture, because by taking a picture of the people,
it didn't affect them.
Tattling on them for doing something wrong.
No, like, they're not going to get in trouble. The health code people aren't going to arrest them.
No, I know that. But then it's almost like, why even do it? Why do it if you're literally just making these people look bad and using them as the example?
How is he making them look bad? It's not like the health code goes, look at these idiots. They don't care. Let me tell you what this is. Nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Literally
This
nothing.
is no assholes here. You did something that didn't matter. Unless the dog is on the fucking table.
Well, the reason it mattered is because the couple was mad that they feel like they invaded privacy idiots. With the photo.
They're idiots. You're at a Chipotle.
I got in my truck and left.
Look, they're at Chipotle and you're allowed to be photographed at a Chipotle. No other Mexican restaurant, only Chipotle.
What?
They got their dog. They are being assholes and they did deserve to be photographed. Because honestly, if your dog is up on the seat at Chipotle, no, that's disgusting. What are you doing? Keep your dog on the floor. What are you doing? And so he took a picture not to get those people in trouble. It wasn't to get them in trouble or to make them look bad, which would be if he posted it on social media, which honestly I would defend, but we're not here for that. And then he submitted to the health code people and they're going to go, yeah, so thanks. You sent us a picture of a dog, you idiot.
Right. Pointless.
The only assholes really are them for letting their dog on the furniture. That's where I'm landing.
I feel that.
But I didn't get the point, but I still have 1 point.
Well then. I guess you win.
I won by 1. All right, folks. Well, thanks for listening. And our sponsor today is what's it called? Queso, the one with the queso. Oh, I forgot.
Chipotle?
No, the Chipotle competitor.
Oh,
Qdoba.
Oh,
Our sponsor today, Qdoba. That's not really true, but our sponsor today is dying from heart disease. Okay, eat, in fact, a whole foods diet. That's what I recommend. Fruit. I'm trying to do vegetables. They're just so damn boring and they go bad after an hour.
Shop on the border of the grocery store, people.
I hate the border.
Don't go in the aisle. Shop on the border.
No, I want to go in the aisle. I want to go in the aisle. I want to eat simple carbohydrates.
You can go to the bakery.
No. Oh, is that the count?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. The bakery's on the edge.
Yeah.
Is that legal?
I count it.
You know what I remember? We had this Cuban bread in Miami, and it's basically like a tremendous, like those giant Subway sandwiches that's like that shape.
Yeah.
Like a
loaf.
Huge loaf. And I remember just digging out all the innards, just this gooey, doughy dough.
That sounds
That's
amazing.
That's like a fond childhood memory of mine.
So good.
There's like lard in it and shit.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Good.
Lard is good.
I just want to eat bread. I think heaven is just bread and you can just keep eating it. That feeling of eating bread.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That sounds not bad to me.
We got a juicy app for you today. Our sponsor today is bread. Would I be the asshole if I don't include my wife on a trip I planned for my friend? Are you freaking kidding me, dog? Why would you do that? But first, AITA. My roommate refuses to do any chores, so I raised rent without telling him. My roommate refuses to do chores in our apartment. Don't clean, take out the trash, dishes, nothing.
Boo.
we've split rent and utilities down the middle for the last year, but a few months ago, he just stopped doing all the chores. No explanation. When I bring it up, he tells me he doesn't need to do them because I do a fine job. So I raise rent, $150 a month to contribute to this, and he didn't seem to care. But a mutual friend said he was very upset with me about it and didn't want to directly tell me. I would lower rent if he did chores. He's upset I raised it, but still doesn't do anything. AITA.
What is this guy, like a 1920s fucking husband? You're doing a fine job, babe. You got this.
Oh, it's a classic man trick.
I could never do as good as you.
This is a classic man trick. And I actually found out the reverse. I read this other comment that the reverse works. So the man trick is you're just so good at it.
Right.
And let me say, not everybody and not all, but the people do a thing where it's like I've been very criticized. I've realized I'm afraid to be in someone's kitchen. I'm afraid because I used to get yelled at a lot for things I would do in the kitchen.
Okay.
And
like what?
Just anything that's not where that goes. I'm I don't know. I'm trying and I understand this is your domain, but just give me some grace. I'm trying. I don't know where it goes. To me, it's a spoon. So it goes where the spoons go. And it's no, it's a ladle, you fucking idiot. So I didn't know. But anyway, weaponized incompetence, it's a thing. But what I read is if this woman was saying that the way she tells her kids, she says, butter them up. It's the reverse. It's the reverse that works. So if you want your kid to do the trash, say, you really, the way you do trash, you're honestly, you do it so good.
It's reverse psychology.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Is it reverse psychology? I think it's straight on psychology.
It feels like an everyone sucks here for me personally, because I think if you're going to charge them $150 just for you to do the work, that's not really if I'm I'm going to charge you $150 and we're going to hire a cleaner to come in once a month or whatever.
For $150.
Yeah. That's makes
fair
sense,
for you.
But if you're going to clean up anyway, you either need to stop cleaning up or have someone else clean up, because I don't think that you should be charging them for you to clean up what is also your mess.
Well, I'm for me, I'm wondering, the way I frame this is this two can play at that game or an eye for an eye? Now, an eye for an eye tends to make you an asshole. We don't really like when people do that.
Right.
But I feel like it's kind of a two can play at that game, which I think is fair because I feel like we had an agreement. Mm-hmm. We had an agreement. The agreement was we would split the rent and the utilities and the chores.
Right.
And then he just decides, I ain't doing that.
Right.
And I'm kind of all right, two can play at that game. The rent is now higher. You didn't respect me by just all of a sudden deciding that you were above doing chores. And now I will similarly disrespect you. And, there's really no malice. It's just kind of this is what I deem it to be. Mm-hmm. I'm struggling to ding. Is
the $150 extra a month really going to stop you from being annoyed every time this guy leaves a mess? Because also, if I'm the roommate who's not cleaning up after myself and I know you're charging me $150 a month.
He doesn't know.
Well, he says that he's indirectly upset with me about it. So he doesn't know it's for that reason.
Exactly. He doesn't know it's for that reason.
But yeah, I think it's a little shady.
It's shady, but to me, he's just returning back what the other guy did.
Yeah, but without him knowing. I think this is kind of immature. I just feel like it's you got to get a new roommate if this guy's not going to clean up. I personally, I just feel $150 more a month is great for me, but also I'm still going to be annoyed if I have to literally clean all your dishes. And then at one point when he becomes messier, then are you oh, now I'm going to raise it more and raise it more. It's
yeah,
tell this person to be a grown-ass person.
It is kind of eye for an eye, because I think you're right. I think it would have been very reasonable and mature and honestly just clean to be hey, man, I noticed you're not doing the chores, so we're going to have to get a cleaner.
Yeah.
And this is how much the cleaner costs, and so that's going to be added to your rent.
Yeah. Otherwise,
is that what you want to do? Or do you want to do your chores?
Exactly.
And that would have been the adult thing to do. You could still get what you want and be clear about it. And if he's going to be a little asshole, then you don't need to be a little asshole back, because you are in a position of power. Apparently he has the power to raise the rent. So he's either a tenant or a subtenant to this guy, or the guy is. For
sure. I guess I just don't feel like OP necessarily made it super clear, because he didn't tell him. I'm sure if he said, yo, I'm raising your rent $150 because you're not cleaning, that guy's going to start cleaning.
He didn't.
That's what I'm saying. So that to me is he really trying to fix the problem?
You want to be transparent with your roommate, you're kind of fucking with them. And also, let me say this, it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, how much is the rent where $150 would be legal? It might even be kind of illegal. I don't know if you can really do that.
I mean, he's probably subletting, I assume.
Old Mud 9448 YTA. That's not the way things work in a tenant landlord situation. Even if you are a roommate, you can't just raise rent every other time the other person doesn't bend to your demands. I think for me, that's how I'm going to settle this. The reality is OP is playing a couple different roles here. He's a roommate.
Yeah.
And he's a landlord. And as a landlord, this just is not appropriate.
Yeah. And
for that reason, ESH, because I think the tenant is being a shitty roommate and I think OP is being a shitty landlord. And those OP has to be the bigger person here because he's in the bigger role.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we agree on this one then. It's everyone sucks here.
Yeah, agreed.
Would I be the asshole? Guys, please rate, review, subscribe. Join me on Patreon. 200 plus bonus episodes every single episode. Ad-free, accurate timestamps.
Wow.
Fun community on Discord. You can yell at me. You can scream at me. You can have a mild conversation with me.
You can ask him where his birthmarks are.
I don't know if I have any. I guess I have maybe a few. I had a girl one time really.
You instantly touched the spot where
I have an appendix scar. Oh. That's my appendectomy scar.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, it's really smoothed out now. But now, I'm getting this surgery's on my fucking face. Can you imagine that?
But they're probably going through your nostril.
I guess so, yeah. And they say you get some really gnarly boogers.
Ooh.
Because, it all crusts in there and stuff.
Take photos.
Ugh. Go on Patreon and I'll give you a picture of my booger. Would I be the asshole if I don't include my wife on a trip I planned for my friend? I, 30M, have been friends with Annabelle, 29F, since we were 15. When we were still teens, Annabelle picked up smoking from her friends. Not too much, and said she knew the risks and wanted to stop. As encouragement to get her to quit, I made her a little deal. We both share a love of cars and motorsports, so the deal was that if she never picked up a cig again, I would fly us out to get grandstand tickets for her favorite F1 race. Obviously, once we were older and not broke teenagers. 16-year-old me didn't take all the costs into consideration, but I still wanted to uphold my end of the deal. Annabelle and I have always had a sibling-like relationship. Wife knows. Nothing has ever happened between us, and Annabelle even helped set me up with my now wife, 30F, and was a groomswoman at the wedding. This year, the time finally came. I had the money, the time, the circumstances. Wife always knew about the deal I have with Annabelle since we met 9 years ago. She's never had a problem with it and even found it quote unquote wholesome. Her and Annabelle have a good ship. They aren't best friends, but whatever, they get along. Anyway, September, booked the tickets to the race as well as flights, and the trip is going to be around Annabelle's B-Day. I'd always thought it was known the trip was going to be just me and Annabelle as per the deal we made ages ago when I was booking the tickets. I mentioned this to my wife. She had zero problems
That
at
doesn't
the time.
sound like it's worth going.
She had zero problems at the time. Then a couple days ago, wife mentions how she's so excited for the trip, and I gently let her know I have only booked 2 tickets for the race and flights. She was upset about this, and I was really confused as I thought I made it clear it was for Annabelle and it would be just us 2. She asked me if I could add another ticket, but it's all sold out, so I can't. Then she asked if I could add another plane ticket, and I'm not inclined to do that as I know it sounds childish. This was a me and Annabelle thing. My wife has seemed really upset about this and is barely talking to me. And the one time we have seen Annabelle since, she was very cold. I don't know if she doesn't trust me or if it's because of some insecurity. Would I be the asshole if I don't include my wife?
Well, it sounds like you're already not including her, so not really a hypothetical.
Well, you can still buy that plane ticket. Get the plane ticket, buddy.
I think he's made it very clear that this is a him and Annabelle thing. It's not like this happened over the course of a couple months. They've been together. They've been friends forever. Do I think that it's worth fuzzying up your marriage? No, I'd say buy the plane ticket and then still have your own little time with Annabelle if it really means that much to your wife. But also, I think the wife should understand that it's not for her. It's not her. It's not her thing.
The idea that you would book a trip with an opposite gender friend, heteronormatively speaking, without your wife is utter lunacy.
Lunacy, interesting.
Yes. I mean, I think what OP did was he was like, yeah, Annabelle and I will be going. And then wife was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. And then she's like, so, yep. Annabelle and I going, and you're not coming. And she's like, you never said that before, because he didn't. He just stressed that it was, and she was like, yeah, that's fine. You and Annabelle can do that. When you have a spouse, I think the first question is, the premise of the trip is you're not coming. That's like the first.
Yeah.
Especially with.
You make it clear.
Yes. When it comes, and I can't speak for the gays here, and I won't speak for the gays, but I think from what I know about straights, this is this is looking almost to me like a non-starter. This is a big ask. I think, especially a one-on-one trip.
What's the big ask?
Hey, honey, can I go on a one-on-one trip with an opposite sex friend? I'm like, no. I think the answer to that is going to lean no. That's not appropriate. That's too intense. I mean, I'm not going to say never, but I'm saying like that's mad dicey. The whole premise would need to be, is it okay if I exclude you from this trip I'm taking with an opposite sex friend? Like,
yeah, I mean, they made plans to do this prior to him even knowing his wife. This girl, Annabelle, was around before the wife.
That's fair, but I think it's kind of a ridiculous thing that people say. You know, I had an agreement with a friend who said we'd get married if we didn't marry anyone by the time we're 30. And now where the fuck are you? Now where the fuck are you, Lauren? Huh? You didn't hold that shit up. Lauren. I remember it. I'll send her that clip. She doesn't even listen to the fucking podcast. She doesn't give a shit about me.
I don't know. I feel like childhood friends is understandable. I mean, I have male friends that I personally, like, if there was like this long-term thing of like, oh, we're going to do this thing 10 years from now. Like, it's just like a nostalgic thing to be able to like follow through with that.
It's also like a joke.
No, but it would be like a nostalgic thing to follow through with that.
It's
like,
cute.
We see life coming full circle and what beautiful moments those are. I feel like you're allowed to have those beautiful moments with people who are not your significant other. And if you're not, that's not okay. Yeah. If Annabelle was a boy, this wouldn't be an issue.
No, but why does wife have to be excluded?
Because it was a them trip.
I don't think that's appropriate.
I don't think that he's purposely excluding her because he doesn't want her there. I think he just wants this to be a him and his best friend thing. And I think that when you're in a marriage, it's important to have a life that is outside of just your marriage. Like,
but why would you exclude your wife? That's insane to me. You don't exclude your wife. Should he buy the flight or not?
If he wants to just like be like just to make it end, like her not be upset. Yeah. But I think the way I'm waffling is I can say that he should probably just buy the flight to like make this kosher for everybody. But also I think the wife should understand that she's not part of this thing that they've had for many years.
I don't see why the wife can't be part of the thing.
And how does Annabelle feel about all this?
I don't care.
I want to know if I was Annabelle, I would be like, yeah, tell your wife to cut. Like, I'm a person who's, when I'm friends with a guy, I'm paying attention to the girlfriend of the guy. I'm like, I want you to feel like included. I want you to.
Annabelle better say, but I don't consider her a party to this, but what she should say is, of course, why would you not bring your wife? That's your fucking wife. She's an assumed person to come with. You know, I'm not going to be asking, hey, is it okay if I bring my wife? Bro, it's okay. If you're not okay with my wife coming, then it's not really appropriate for us to take this trip for like twice as much now.
But I don't think he even asked Annabelle whether.
No, he didn't.
It just seemed like he wanted to do this with just Annabelle.
Hanging out with opposite sex friends is fine when you're married. I get that. In a group, it's fine. But like, let's face it, when you're hanging out with opposite sex friend in a context that is a trip, an extended trip,
yeah,
you're
but what's the trip?
Somewhere,
2 nights, a night?
That's a lot of time.
I'm just saying, one night, like going somewhere, sleeping in separate rooms, hotel rooms, like are they sharing?
OP does clarify that does clarify that.
Yeah, they're in separate hotel rooms. Like, I don't know. I think a childhood best friend, that's kind of ridiculous to not be able to just do something with them separately. I personally also think there have been times, even in situations where like somebody who I'm long-term friends with, for instance, going on a trip with somebody and then my boyfriend being like, oh, I'm going to come, right? And I'm like, no, because low-key, I want this time away from you.
With a boy though, or with a girl, with a woman?
Yeah, like a longtime guy friend who I like grew up with. That hasn't
just
been a huge thing.
I mean, to me, it's like the optics to some extent are the reality. I mean, if she's cool with it, she's cool with it. But if she's not cool with it, I'm like, and then the answer is she's coming, bro. OP edits in. Yes, I had a big fat sit down conversation with my wife about this before I booked anything. And I broke down my plans and all the costs covered by money I had saved on my own. And my wife was completely fine with everything until now. So.
Well, the other thing is he doesn't really say if she's upset because he's going on this trip with Annabelle or just because she expected to go on the trip and now she doesn't get to go on the trip.
I mean, OP is painting a picture here where she did know that she wasn't coming. He's saying they had a big fat sit down. Edit 2, talk to my wife and am currently booking her onto our flight in my hotel room. I guess I can see where people are coming from with the YTA judgment, but I still think she should have said she wanted to come sooner, as I did make it clear, because like I said, and people seem to be overlooking, I clearly communicated everything with her, told her all the details and everything. She was fine with it all until she wasn't. And look, if she was some random girl or your fucking girlfriend of 3 months, and I'd be like, yeah, bro, fuck her. But she's not. She's your wife and she has a right to change her mind. And you have a right to be like, there's no changing minds. And then you have a right to get divorced because that's your fucking wife. That's your fucking wife. The answer is that's what she wants. So she's coming with. And what's wrong with you? What are you up to that you wouldn't be cool with that?
I just feel like people sometimes, like, you don't have the same hang with someone that you would when someone else is around sometimes. And I'm not saying that in a shady way,
no,
but I think you can have like a deep relationship with somebody and talk about certain things with this person and be close with this person without it being non-platonic. But when your wife is there, maybe he wants to open up like with his best friend about
his wife,
his wife.
And I'm okay with that. My issue is we went too far. I actually do think it would be reasonable if he said, hey, I want you to come on the trip, but the F1 race, which in this case, it wasn't even possible for her to come. But I think that's reasonable. It's like, hey, me and Annabelle share a specific interest. That feels very appropriate to me. We share a hobby and an interest. I mean, it's like this podcast. Like, obviously, I'm going to be having women on my podcast, even when I do get a wife. And I will have a wife one day. I know some of you don't believe that, but it will happen for me. You know, because this is a capacity to where obviously it's a conversation and blah, blah, blah. But this is
completely filmed.
Well, and it is filmed. Yeah, it is filmed. But yeah, I think that's reasonable to me. I would even have my ex on this podcast, for instance.
Okay, yeah.
You know, because
this isn't a private moment, though. That's reasonable because it's not a private moment.
Well, but there are private moments, though.
Right, but
throughout, right? Like not all the interaction isn't strictly recorded.
Right.
Like it's not like when you walked in the door, I was filming you. I mean, I was, but you don't know that. What? Just kidding. Springtime ambivert. I doubt the wife ever thought it was possible that she wouldn't be included, so there was no need to clarify that when he clearly laid out the plans. I actually think that's pretty reasonable because if your spouse is saying them plans, I don't think it's crazy to be like, clearly I'm in the plans. OP referenced making this deal when they were teens before wife, which doesn't help his case like he may think. The existence of a wife understandably wasn't considered then. It should be considered now. Saffron Canto writes, you are both an asshole and an idiot.
Wow. Okay.
Pull your head out of your ass and stop trying to justify. It's hurtful and inappropriate to prioritize someone else to this degree over your life partner.
I guess I agree with that.
Okay, she's coming on board. Automatic ad 2576. Wait, so you want to leave your stay-at-home wife with the kids while you gallivant around to a F1 race with another woman and you're paying for the whole vacation like a sugar daddy or boyfriend would? I didn't clock that he was paying for everything. I don't care if it's a friend from childhood or the pastor's wife. That's how affairs happen. And as a wife myself, it would not have happened in my home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, do I think it's sweet to have a nostalgic, wholesome little agreement? Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Yes, it's sweet. But like the idea that he would now pay for the whole thing, I'm like, that doesn't really seem appropriate or necessary. I don't think that when you were 15 making this deal, I would expect you to recognize that making an offer like that would be inappropriate when you fulfilled the deal 14 years later. I think that's something we adjust because that's reasonable.
Right.
I think he kind of wants to fuck Annabelle. A little bit, maybe not a lot, but a little bit. Would I be the asshole if I don't include my wife on a trip I planned for my friend? I think this would be the botch of a century, potentially marriage ruining. And that's just, to me, that's not how a marriage could work. If she was okay with it and she was genuinely okay with it, I would still be like, I don't think this is really appropriate for the role of a spouse. Going to an F1 race with Annabelle, that's fine. That's perfectly appropriate.
Yeah.
But flying her out, flying with her, staying in a hotel overnight, this starts to get a little bit too much.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And for these reasons, I am at you're the asshole. Guys, please rate, review, subscribe. Join me on Patreon. You get it. You've heard it. But just actually do it this time. No, seriously. You want ad-free. You're tired of these ads.
Stop stalling.
Thank you. You're tired of the ads. I know the ads mess up the timestamps. There's nothing I can do. Trust me. There's nothing I can do. But what I can do...
It's going to be an ad right now.
Oh my God. Isn't that annoying? And the volume's all crazy, you know, come to Chumba Casino. It's crazy. I can't control that. But what I can control is for $5 a month, inflation proof, Little Caesar style. It's $5, ad free, hundreds of episodes, every single one ad free. And you can spank me and call me daddy. Seriously, if you got by today, I'll let you do that.
I will hold him to it. Even if it happens 15 years from now and he has a wife, still happening.
She'll be cool with that. She'll be like, that's funny. Yeah, spank him in front of me, in front of my wife.
No, it's going to be in a different city. You're going to have to go by plane.
I'll fly you out to spank me and call me daddy. And not the reverse, by the way. That's disgusting. I would never spank a woman and call her. Actually, no, I would spank a woman and call her daddy. That's interesting.
Yeah, if she wanted it, why not?
Right? You ever call? I've called a woman mommy before. No, I haven't. That's not true. Well, my mom. Speaking of calling people by names that are awkward, we're going to wrap up here, folks. AITA for refusing to call my friend by her new name, Queen.
Okay.
My partner's friend, 25F, socially changed her name from the name her mom gave her to a name she chose. She's cisgender. Her name change is due to wanting to reinvent herself. Queen. It reflects how she thinks of herself and how she wants others to see her. Her social media usernames and profiles reflect the new name, and people she's met in the past few years call her by the name she's introduced herself as. I'd be glad to support her in the autonomy she seeks by naming herself, but my issue is that it's freaking Queen. Within the friend group, I noticed she sometimes her old friends slip up and call her by her given name, but you can see that it doesn't sit well, and that being dead named bothers her. Sometimes she'll politely correct, but not within larger groups. Sometimes her friends self-correct and call her Queen. Since Queen and King are used as terms of praise, reverence, and endearment, I'm very hesitant to call them Queen. I don't feel that way. That says,
whoa.
If she tells a funny joke or I'm fondly greeting her, it is actually easy to call her Queen. Really? So there's a funny joke exception to this? That's a weird...
Well, it's like an affirmation. Like, yes, Queen.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. It just doesn't feel like a name to me. It feels like a title. I don't feel right calling my peer Queen. Okay, we got it. I avoid using any name to refer to her. If I do use a name, I try to say Queen, but if I'm not in a good mood or if I'm annoyed, I don't bring myself to say it like I call her Q. I asked if I can call her Q. She said, no, my name's Queen. Perhaps I would feel differently if it were a stage name, AITA.
That's a lot.
I can push back right away. I don't think this is dead naming. I think dead naming. It's not. I think exactly right. Dead naming is if you're transgender, and that's a different thing. And I would say that this is not dead naming. This is just using someone's old name. That's crazy. This isn't dead naming. That'd be like if a woman got married and changed her name and then you accidentally called her by her maiden name. That'd be dead. That's crazy.
Yeah. Also, Queen, if you want me to call you Queen, you better go through the work to legally change that shit. And then I'll go through the work to use it.
Honestly, I think that's clean.
In this case, because she's cisgender, because it's just her socially changing her name. Also, it's like very unqueen-like to force people to call you Queen.
Well, I know. I'll push back there. It's very Queen-like.
Well, yeah.
Queen can make such a decree.
For sure. But so what I mean is when you want people to call you Queen, you don't force them to do it. That's like so it's gross. Yeah. It's like, right. My username is Funky. Some people literally will be like Funky because they've seen my Instagram.
Oh, in person, they'll call you Funky?
Yeah. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, Funky. And my variety show is the Funky. Like
the Funky Universe Comedy Hour. Did I nail it?
Funky Universe Variety Show.
Fucking God, I'm so close. I'm making progress.
It's okay, you are. But I think people I'm not asking them to call me that by any means, or do I want people to call me that? But when people do that, it's because I've branded enough things to where people naturally associate it to me.
Can I call you Funky?
Sure. If you want.
People be like, nice to meet you, Funky.
No, because I don't introduce myself that way. It'll be people who already know me and know my name is Karla. Like,
they'll just call you that.
Like as a nickname.
Oh yeah, I'll do that. If I see someone, if I see them on Instagram more than real life, then I'll call them their Instagram handle. So, like my brother has a friend named Tony, but his Twitter handle was AfroFat, and so I'm always like, "What's up, Afro?" Like
that's good, yeah. But he's not around going, "Call me AfroFat." Call me Funky.
Right. Yeah, I think this is a stretch. I think we're going too far with, respect people's identity and things like this. Yeah, I'm about respect, but like you can't make me call you a term of royalty. Words means things. Mm-hmm. This has no cultural meaning. That like it's not like it sounds like the word queen. Like no, you're demanding that we refer to you as the queen or as queen. And I think it's ridiculous. And frankly, and I know this word gets dropped a lot, but I do think it's it's narcissistic.
Oh, it's absolutely narcissistic.
I said it, people. I said it.
Yeah. And I feel like it's also like, I love that she said, and her new name, Queen, reflects how she thinks of herself and how she wants other people to see her. But then basically says, I don't see her that way. And it's I simply don't feel that way about her. But I think there are some people in my life that if they were like, I'm changing my name to Queen, I would be like, oh, I could see that for you. You're fucking amazing.
And
but they wouldn't be
that
if they wanted to, but they wouldn't be the people who are like, don't call me anything else. You know, it's that energy behind this girl that's
so
like
gross.
Yeah.
I call people Queenie.
That's cute.
Queenie, like my girlfriends. Yeah, I think this is too much. Arthur Away writes, if you want people to call you queen, work to earn that. Now, I'm not really, well, I guess earn it abstractly because it's kind of hard to earn a monarchy.
Yeah, you gotta like be born into it.
Andro Much 97. Randos calling themselves king or queen probably does the opposite of valorizing monarchy. It actually makes the title more meaningless. Yeah, I actually kind of feel like it is kind of meaningless. Like I actually have a negative association with it. Like the king, all the princes and all those people and that little, what's that little country? That little England.
Yeah.
They all look all sick and they don't look good. And then I'm like, you didn't earn that. That just means you did incest. That's
You're
really
born into it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very incestual. And I don't care. I'm not going to call someone queen. I'm trying to think of some like middle of the road names like the Duke or like, actually, I think it'd be pretty funny if somebody named themselves doctor and they weren't a doctor. I might go with them on that. There's ones that I think are funny.
Right?
Doc.
Yeah. But doctor is also not like a sense of royalty.
Well,
some people do.
It's a big deal to be a
Prestigious.
doctor. AITA for refusing to call my friend by her new name Queen. It's too far. Not the asshole and she is. Come on, I'm not going to call you Queen.
No. I would be like, I'll call you Q.
And she said no to that. She said no
Good
Q.
for her.
We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.